There's something about turning 50 that makes you pause. You take a breath, you look around, and then the questions start changing. It's not just about what do I want to achieve anymore. It becomes what will I regret not doing? Hi, I'm Sanjay Mehta and happy to welcome you to another episode of What If You Live to Be 100. Today's episode is like a turning point. Until now, we've been speaking in a kind of a broad, reflective way, talking about a big picture, about ideas that generally inspire. But from this episode onwards, we're going to get a little more specific, which is why this episode is titled, What Really Matters Now. There's something about turning 50 or maybe, getting close to it that makes you pause. Not dramatically, not like a full stop, but like a comma. You take a breath, you look around, and then the questions start changing. It's not just about what do I want to achieve anymore. It becomes how do I want to feel? What do I want to feel? What will I regret not doing? It's subtle but powerful. Because at this age of life, say somewhere between 50 and 65, the questions we're carrying around are shifting. They're not the same questions we were asking in our 30s or 40s. And they're certainly not the same answers. So, what we are doing today in this episode is that I want to introduce some 7 key life domains that are going to shape our second half. And what I'll do is that I will explore each of these across several future episodes. But today's goal is just to give you a sense of what lies ahead, just to give you that larger, broader picture of these 7 facets. So think of this episode as like a map before the journey. And again, I remind you, we're not trying to find the answer today or even going ahead. We're simply asking, what are the right questions for this stage? And more importantly, how can we ask them with curiosity, without fear? So let's start with the first one. The first one is around money, perhaps the most loaded topic of all. There's this quiet anxiety many people carry. Will my money last me through my lifetime? And it's not just about survival, it's about the lifestyle you have, the kind of comfort, the dignity that you have, whether you will be able to carry it around. One friend of mine who has been a successful senior executive confided that every time he reads about inflation or some new medical treatments, he starts recalculating his retirement corpus in his head. That's the quiet math that so many of us do without telling anyone. It's that anxiety that keeps showing up in our heads. So we'll talk about how to navigate all that, about inflation, longevity, medical contingencies, gifting, wealth transfer, both from our parents to us or from us to our children. We'll explore how to rethink taxation, plan for charitable giving, or even explore borrowing at this age. Because money at this stage isn't just a number, it's more of a philosophy. Let's be honest, we've all opened that Excel sheet or calculator on a Sunday afternoon just to check something. One unexpected hospitalization, one financial decision made in haste can completely make you rethink your entire plan. But here's the thing, money isn't just about numbers anymore. It's about how you want to feel about your future. Do you want security, flexibility? Do you want the ability to say yes to your grandchildren's dreams or your own travel list? So we'll talk about all of these slowly, practically, and without jargon. The next thing is health. And let's be honest, health becomes visible now. A niggling knee pain, a frozen shoulder, a routine blood test that throws up a surprise. I remember this man at my gym, maybe 60 or so, who told me, my ambition now is not 6 packs. It's to be able to carry groceries up 2 flights without panting. So yeah, we'll talk about strength, stamina, flexibilities. We'll talk about sugar levels, blood pressure, gut health. Yeah, all those, tough words which we are grappling with in our lives nowadays. We'll talk mental wellness, resilience, sleep. All of these are very important. And of course, it won't just be me talking. I'm hardly the expert to speak about a lot of these. We'll have a medical expert join us on this show and talk about some of these. The idea finally isn't to fear aging. It's to engage with it smartly, intentionally. And maybe this is the phase where the goal shifts from looking fit to staying functional. Can I play with my grandchild without back pain? Can I climb that small hill near my hometown with ease? And just as important, can I keep my mind calm when the world outside feels noisy? The health conversation now is about building a body and a mind that serves your purpose, whatever it is. So, after health, the next topic that we will talk about is relationships. And you might ask, what about relationships? Well, this is the age where the quality of our relationships really begins to matter. We've outgrown those transactional friendships. Some people have returned to their home after being away for many years and don't have much of a friend circle or a support system in place. Many have lost parents with whom they had a great bond, but they have lost parents, or have seen children move away. Some marriages are thriving, but some others might be quietly disintegrating. And yet, there's a beauty in this phase, the space to deepen connections, renew intimacy, and rediscover friendships. So we'll talk about how to do that. We'll talk about companionship, communication, finding your tribe again or for the first time. I met someone recently who said, at this age, I no longer need 100 people in my phone book. I need 5 who will show up if I fall. Isn't that the truth? So this is a phase where quality beats quantity in every possible way. It's time to ask, who drains me and who fills me up? And more importantly, am I showing up fully for those I love? This isn't just about romance or family. It's about belonging. And the beautiful thing is, it's never too late to build that circle. So after relationships, what we will then focus on is the subject of work and second careers. Now, you might have thought that, 60, doesn't work end here. Well, work officially doesn't end at 60, not anymore at least. Because for many, this is the beginning of their second curve. Now, that second curve could be consulting, mentoring, passion projects, or starting something new altogether. On one of my travels a few years back, I met a man who quit a 30-year career in banking and started doing pottery and creating interesting clay items. He sells a few, teaches some people, and is the happiest he's ever been. So we'll talk about this kind of reinvention, how to think about your second innings with energy and realism. Sometimes I ask people, if money wasn't a concern, what would you spend your day doing? And the answers are fascinating. The answers are very different from what I would have imagined. They speak about gardening, writing, teaching, baking, storytelling. The challenge isn't that we don't have dreams. It's that we're afraid to give them space. But here's the secret. The second innings isn't a downgrade. It can be the version of life you were always meant to live. No boss, no ego battles, just flow. So post-relationship, another interesting facet to figure out at this stage of life is, where do you want to live? So this is also the time when many start thinking, where do I want to live? Should I stay in the city with all the hustle, bustle, traffic? Or should I head to the suburbs? Or maybe move to a quieter town? Should I spend time with my children who live abroad? Or should I split time between all the different places? The question is hardly geographical. It's emotional. Where do I feel alive? Where am I needed? Where do I belong? A woman once told me, I no longer want to live where everything is 15 minutes away. I want to live where I can breathe. And that stayed with me. Where we live now is a big part of how we live. Do I want noise or stillness? Community or solitude? Do I want to be near my children or somewhere that lets me grow? So we'll unpack all this because there is no one right answer. It's different for different people. So let's help each other listen to that quiet inner voice and know exactly where our home is for each one to themselves. The next topic which is important to talk about is technology and the digital world. Tech is no longer optional. Whether it's for health monitoring, digital payments, safety, entertainment, technology is a part of our daily lives. So we'll talk about digital literacy, we'll talk about cyber safety, how do we use tech for independence rather than confusion, and we'll keep it jargon-free and human. Technology can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. The truth is that this generation is smarter than it gives itself credit for. All of us, you, me, everybody. We've all learned so much already. We went from landlines to smartphones. We've gone from handwritten letters to voice notes. So we don't need to become a techie. We just need to become comfortable with tech. So we'll get there one tool at a time over the episodes and conversations that we have right here. And then there is this seventh key facet of life, which is to find purpose. Yes, figuring the purpose of life at this stage. So at some point the question comes up, what am I really here for? What am I leaving behind? And purpose doesn't have to mean starting a foundation or writing a book. It could just mean mentoring someone, making a difference to a cause, being a steady hand for your community. In one of the upcoming episodes, I'll share the story of a retired homemaker who now tutors underprivileged girls in maths. Her eyes light up when she talks about it. And that's what purpose looks like. Purpose isn't pressure. It's not one big moment. It's dozens of small ones. It's about being present. It's about being kind. It's about choosing to matter to someone. And when you find your version of it, no matter how big or small, your days begin to feel lighter, more wholesome. That's the power of purpose. So that's what lies ahead, all of these 7 areas. And however, in addition to these, if you think I might have missed some interesting aspect which is relevant and crucial in this phase of life, do let me know. It's not like these are the only 7 things I'm going to talk about. We'd love to have your suggestions. And otherwise, in the course of the coming weeks, we'll go deeper into each of these 7 areas that we talked about. Not as experts, let's be clear, but as fellow travelers. We are all on the same journey. So if you're between 50 and 65 and wondering how to shape the next 25, 30 years, you're not alone. Let's ask the questions together and let's try to find better answers.